Hello, in this video we're going to walk through how to integrate Flipgrid in with Canvas and the main steps to make that work here at Wabash. There are a number of videos online that go through the same process, but the steps are just a little bit different here, so I'm hopeful this will be helpful. So the first step really is just to go to Flipgrid and create an account. And then once you have created your free account, then if you go to the drop-down window under your profile name, you'll see an integrations option. Until you add one, you won't see any integrations, but you'll be prompted to create a new Canvas integration and name it. I simply named mine Wabash, and I believe you can use that for any course that you want in Canvas. Once you do that, there'll be a consumer key and a shared secret key. You're going to need both of these values later on, but you can come back and copy them when we're ready. But once you've gotten this far, you have your Flipgrid account and you've added a Canvas integration. Then if you go to Canvas, you'll have to do this separately for each course that you're going to integrate Flipgrid with. But the main thing that you'll do is to go to Settings, and then to Apps. And you'll see there aren't any options available here. And so to add Flipgrid, you're going to go to and select View App Configurations, and then select Add App. And so then a window will open up with a lot of options. The first thing you want to do is change the configuration type to by URL. And we need to tell Canvas where to find Flipgrid. And I've got that saved over in another window. So this is part of another handout that will be posted. But basically you just need this link that tells Canvas where to find Flipgrid. Give it a name. I think the easiest thing to do is just call it Flipgrid, if it can spell correctly. And then here is where you need to enter your consumer key and the shared secret. So and you really shouldn't make your shared secret public. So we'll pause that for just a sec. And once you've entered your shared secret and submitted that information, then what you should see now is that Flipgrid will show up as one of the options in your external apps. However, it does not appear on your list of options in my course navigation window, or the menu here to the left. So if you click on navigation, then what you should see, actually you don't see anything. So if you refresh your page, then Flipgrid now will show up here at the bottom among your disabled pages. Maybe it was there before and I missed it, but if not, just refresh your page. But then what you want to do is take Flipgrid and move it up to wherever you want in your course. And I'm just going to put it under discussions because that's really what I'm going to be using it for in my course. So then I'll hit save. And at this point now, Flipgrid will show up as an option in my course navigation menu. So if I select it, then now Canvas will load Flipgrid. And you'll get this pop-up window just asking or just informing you that to connect Flipgrid, you're going to create a new grid for your course. And this will have a name that's the same name as your Canvas course. So now in Flipgrid, if I go back to my grids, I'll find that now there's a new Schmitzer-Torbert test course grid that has no topics, no videos, that was just updated today. So from here, you can add new topics. I would not recommend that because then they're not going to be integrated in, if you want them integrated in the grade book, so it's part of a graded discussion, then I would not create one here. But instead, what I would do is go to Assignments. And one of the ways that I'm envisioning using Flipbook in some cases is to collect and share student responses to readings. So in this particular course, this is a copy of an old freshman tutorial. And so I might try to convert one of my reading response prompts into a Flipgrid discussion. So I'm going to open this first one as a new tab, and I'm going to create a new assignment. And I'm not going to worry about that. So for now, I'm just going to give it the same name, but call it flipped grid. And I'm going to copy the text. Just make sure the formatting comes through okay. I'm just going to switch to the code version, HTML. So you don't need to do this. I'm just trying to give an example of how I would try to convert a written reading response into a Flipgrid one. So now in my new assignment here, I have a set of instructions for students, a video to watch from the matrix, a couple of readings, online readings, and then also readings from a book that they received over the summer. And I'm going to make this assignment worth 1 point, and it'll be graded complete or incomplete, and it'll be in our reading responses group. So these are all settings I would normally do. And then for the submission type, I'm going to make it use an external tool. If I click find, then I just need to scroll down to Flipgrid to tell Canvas that I want it to use Flipgrid to collect the student's submission. And you can have Flipgrid just load in the page. Playing around with it, I find that this can look a little cramped on the screen if the Flipgrid is just a small part of the window. So I'm going to ask Flipgrid to be opened in a new tab when the student is ready to submit their response. And I'm going to make this due on the first day of class at 9 a.m. so that I have some time to review them before class. So once that is finished, then if I hit, I could save, but I'm just going to go ahead and save and publish since this is a class that it's just a test course. There's no students right now. So for demonstration purposes then, here is my assignment, and I can see what happens if I hit load. So it just takes me to the topic. I'm going to leave that. So then I think I'm all set. However, if I want to see what the student experience looks like, I can go back to my course and go to student view. And now I'll see I have an assignment coming up due on August 13th. If I click it, then I have a lot of instructions here that I probably should read through carefully. But if I click on the button at the bottom, then Flipgrid will load. Load the topic, maybe. There we go. Okay, so then students can complete the assignment by simply pressing the button here to record a response. Notice that the prompt they're presented with here is pretty generic, doesn't have a lot of detail. You can modify this prompt in Canvas to have either the entire prompt or the core that you want them to focus on. You can also include a video so that you can kind of model what the response might look like, or to get them, hopefully feeling more comfortable to submit their own videos. So I'll show that in a second. But here, if I were a student who wanted to respond, if I just click the plus button, then hello, you'll see a window that'll pop up. This is the browser version. It would look slightly different on their phone or on a tablet. But once they're ready to record, they can press the record button, get a countdown. And at this point, the student can start recording their response about their insights into the reading. They can also respond to other comments they've seen from other students if they've looked at other responses to the assignment. Once they're finished, they can pause it. They can redo if they're not happy with it. They can add some bells and whistles that honestly seem a little cutesy for me, but you know, to each their own. But if they're happy with the video, then they would just select next. And at this point, the student can start recording their response. Okay. And then if they're happy with it, they can make some modifications. Should be able to trim the video. Although I may have to change an option there. Oh, there it is. And at this point, the student can start. Okay, so you can trim it like if you felt like you need to get rid of some at the beginning and the end. So you can make some modifications, but once you're done, you would hit. And at this point, the student can start recording their response. Hit next. You need to take a selfie so you can post with as the cover for your video. And again, you can add some cutesy stuff to it, but that's not really my preference or my style. Maybe someday. But once you're done, if you hit next, then there'll be a delay as it's uploaded. They can put a display name. And that's probably as much as I would suggest. And at that point, it has been submitted and now shows up as a response. So they can just close this window and we can leave student view. And now under assignments, if I go to SpeedGrader, I'll see that I have a student response or submission. Which I can watch. And at this point, the student can start recording their response about, and then hopefully I would watch the whole thing. But then once I was done, I could hit complete, could add comments. You can actually also follow this back to Flipgrid. Although it doesn't think I'm already logged in. Oh, well, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's because, let's try that again. If I follow it back, no. Okay, so apparently that's just taking me to the generic landing page. So anyway, never mind. What we can do is in Canvas, if we click on Flipgrid, if we want to modify the assignment, if you click the edit topic, one thing that I think is helpful for an assignment like this is to make sure that the prompt that the student's responding to is close to the point at which they're making their submission. So in this case, I would say there are two questions I want students to address in the prompt. And so I'm going to put those after selecting, going to Flipgrid and editing the topic. What I'm going to do is I'll leave the link to the Canvas assignment in case they want to go back. And I would finesse this a bit, but you know, for our purposes today, it should be enough. And you can also then record a video to serve as an introduction to the prompt, and I would recommend that. What you'll find is that if you do record a video, if it's one you want to use in future sections of the same course, those will not necessarily carry over. But you can download the video from Flipgrid after you have recorded it. So once you're happy with it, you can download it and save it on your own computer to use in the future. I'm not going to do that right here. There are other changes you can make. I'm usually would suggest just leaving the other options alone, but feel free to play around with those. And then if I update the topic, so now when students go to respond, they'll see the 2 questions that they're to focus on in their video response. Okay, so I think otherwise that is the basic introduction to getting Flipgrid running in Canvas at Wabash, how to create an assignment and work with it in SpeedGrader. So if you have any other questions, do feel free to contact me, and I would love to hear more about your experiences if you try the tool out.